Hello friends, a very warm welcome to my channel. Today's topic that we are going to cover is Stannum Metallicum, which common name is tin, which is a metal and it belongs to the mineral kingdom. Now it is prepared from the trituration of the pure metal and it is proved by our master Hahnemann. The miasmatic ground, if we know, is the Sora. Now, moving onwards with the constitution. So, the constitution of Stannum Metallicum is suited to those who feel weak and faint. Weakness is very marked in this remedy. Moving onwards, in women, it is suited to those who are sad and despondent. People who are extremely exhausted, both from the mind and the body. Now, there are people who are unable to talk, and they are unable to talk because they are very weak, and that weakness centers in the chest. Debility is very marked in this remedy, which comes from the chest. So they are unable to talk. Moving onwards, the seat of action. The seat of action of this remedy is mainly nervous system and respiratory system. If we see in the nervous system, it affects the chest, throat and stomach. In the nervous system, it causes weakness. It also affects the stomach by acting on the digestive organ. It produces enteralgia and constipation. Now, moving onwards, we will see the pathology. Its main action is on the mucous membrane of the lungs. That is especially on the bronchioles, which produces catarrhal inflammation and profuse mucopurulent expectoration with dilatation of the bronchi and complete exhaustion of the nerves of the lung. Now, it also acts on the vermicide. Hence, it is of a great value in helminthiasis. Now, we will see the mental symptoms of the Stannum Metallicum. Now, the first one is patient is very sensitive as to what other people say about them. He is very conscious. He is always thinking about what people will say about them or what they will think about them. They are anxious, nervous and sad, and it is mainly seen before menses. This sadness, anxiousness and nervousness increases before menses. They are miserable and discouraged. They don't have courage to do anything. There is lack of courage in them. They are mainly coward. That's why this remedy also holds that the weakness starts from the chest, that they don't have the courage. Now, moving towards the next symptom, that is patient cannot get rid of an idea once it is fixed in their mind. Once they think something or they are up to something, they'll continuously think about that only. And that is the reason why patient is forgetful and absent-minded. Now, it is obvious that they will become forgetful or absent-minded because they are fixed to only one idea. Okay, so now moving forward, there are sudden fits of passion in them. Patient feel uneasy, knows not what to do with himself. Now, when he will be passionate to something and if he won't be able to achieve it, then he would feel uneasy and he would be like blank. He don't know what to do ahead now. Patient is hopeless, despondent, without any hope. He feels like crying all the time. But crying makes them even more worse. Now, this symptom can again be related with the weakness. If he'll cry, so he'll feel more weak. That's why crying makes them even more worse. So, we have already seen the mental symptoms. Now, moving forward with the characteristic symptoms, that is characteristic physical symptoms. So, we will begin with the pain. Pain gradually begins. It begins slightly. It increases gradually to the highest point. Firstly, increases gradually, then it reaches to the highest point, that is to the highest intensity, and then gradually declines. Now, this type of pain you can also find in platina. And with this kind of pain, there is numbness along with it. Now, The nature of the pain is neuralgic. It may be located anywhere in the tract of the nerve, but it has often been verified in the prospalgia, that is trigeminal pain, then gastralgia and abdominal colic. Now, the abdominal colic is often relieved by hard pressure, as it is also seen in bryonia and colocynth. Now, the pains are frequently compressive and cramp-like. Cramps and spasm are marked feature of the stannum. Moving towards with the another characteristic symptom, that is weakness. There is great weakness in the chest, which is a leading characteristic. We have already seen this. There is extreme exhaustion of mind and body. Chest is so weak as to make talking impossible. Now he cannot even talk. Singing and laughing also aggravates the situation. The patient is so weak that she drops into a chair instead of sitting down. Now the weakness is so marked that while dressing in the morning, she has to sit down several times to take rest. The weakness is so marked in intensity that she cannot do her work continuously. She has to take rest. She has to sit for a while and then she can again carry on her daily tasks. Now, there is weakness and aching of the deltoid and the arm, which is felt when singing or otherwise using the voice. Whenever she or he uses his or her voice, there is aching where in the deltoid or arm, which is a curious modality. And it is one of an important remedy for singers and public speakers who often use their voice. And you can also compare this with argentum nitricum, which is also the remedy for public speakers and singers. Now, if we see the peculiarity of weakness, it is that it is felt more on going downstairs than on going up. When the patient travels downstairs, he feels more weakness as compared to when he climbs up or goes up. So you can also compare it with borax, whereas in calcarea it is mainly due to the upstairs. There is weak, empty, sinking sensation felt at the epigastrium and also for uterine prolapse, and it may probably due to the relaxation of tissues. Now, there is presence of dyspepsia, where there is nausea and vomiting from the smell of the cooking food. There is even the presence of gastralgia, which compels the patient to walk about. For relief, he walks for relief, but as soon as he begins to walk, he feels weakness. So he is compelled to rest. He cannot walk for very long. There is also the presence of abdominal colic. Now, this pain is ameliorated by pressure, like colocynth and bryonia. So, if we give colocynth for the relief, for the peculiarity that it is relieved by the pressure, and if it fails, which is generally thought of in the abdominal pain, we can think of stannum and it may relieve. And especially if the attacks have been long standing, that is chronic. So, if in children and the patient is relieved by carrying it over the point of the shoulder, that is the shoulder presses into the abdomen, then we can surely go for the stannum metallicum. Moving forward with the uterine displacement, that is mainly due to the relaxation of tissues, there is presence of leukorrhea of the thin debilitated subject when weakness seems to proceed from the chest. Now, the uterine prolapse is worse during the stool and the patient drops down into the chair. The weak, empty feeling in chest, which is one of the leading characteristic of the stannum, there is great weakness in the chest and which becomes worse from talking, laughing, reading aloud and singing. Now, the cuff, which is mainly deep, it is hollow, shattering, strangling and in paroxysm of 3 cuff. There is 3 paroxysm. Now the cough is dry while in bed and in the evening. There is empty sensation in the chest. There is generally very profuse expectoration. That is, expectoration are very profuse with the cough and they are like white of an egg. Sore, putrid, musty, the yellow-green pus during the daytime. The matter that is raised tastes very sweet or it may be exceptionally salty. Now, as soon as we think of salty expectoration, you can also think of sepia and kali iode. They all have thick, heavy, green or yellow color in expectoration. But in stannum, there is a marked degree of weakness which you won't find in other two. Stannum is a low-spirited remedy. Now, it is a characteristic of yellowness. That is, secretions of stannum are yellow and it is worth noting. You can observe tongue is yellow, sputa and leucorrhea are also yellow. The convulsions are opisthotic, thumbs are drawn in. It is mostly met in teething children, children who masturbate or who have worms in them. Now moving towards the sweat, which is moldy, has a musty odor after 4 am every morning on neck and forehead and it is very debilitating. Moving towards the end of our topic, that is modalities, which is worse using voice, that is laughing, talking, singing. Another one is lying on the right side and from warm drinks. Better by coughing or expectorating and by heart pressure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my content, hit the like button and do share it with your friends. And yes, do not forget to subscribe.